Hello and welcome to Lausanne in Switzerland for the 7th stop of the inaugural Samsung Diamond League, and what a stop it is. The Ponte Stadium, also known as the Olympic Stadium, hosts no fewer than 9 Olympic champions tonight, amongst them a certain Mr. Usain Bolt, back from an Achilles injury that has kept him from competition for no less than 42 days. This remarkable city just oozes class, from its hosting of the International Olympic Committee and the Olympic Museum, to astonishing views of the French Alps a few miles away to the south across Lake Geneva, to its remarkable 28-station metro system, Lausanne being the smallest city in the world to boast a rapid transport system. Well, there's the scene. It really is a wonderful evening. Last year the meeting endured what was at times a biblical downpour, but tonight this delightful city on the shores of the lake is back bathed in sunshine, and it's very warm, around 30 degrees centigrade through today, and as you can see it hasn't yet cooled down despite it being 8 o'clock in the evening local time. Well, there's big money up for grabs in the Diamond League series at each meeting and at the end of the series, $40,000 per event at the end of the series, and this being just the 7th stop of 14 meetings means halfway almost reached. The athletes move on to Gateshead in the northeast of England in 48 hours time, and then Paris next Friday, just 8 days away. But the conditions are absolutely perfect here tonight for both track and field athletics, and some very, very special performances expected.
Well, the first event on the track, the women's 400 metres, there's the lineup. Stambolova of Bulgaria, Williams of Jamaica, Dunn of the USA, Moncho of Botswana, Williams Mills of Jamaica, Hastings USA, and White of Jamaica. No outstanding favourite here. 5 athletes have personal bests under 50 seconds, but only one, that's Debbie Dunn, drawn in the 4th lane, has won this season. Williams, Sherika Williams, Jamaica, World Championship silver medalist, drawn in that 3rd lane. Lane 1 not being used incidentally. Inside her, Stambolova, the European champion. Got a glance of her yet. That's Debbie Dunn, 49.64, won the national championships in the United States this season with that time, so very much in form. 4th in the most recent race in Eugene. Amante Moncho of Botswana, 50.3 in Eugene. Season's best, going well. In the 6th lane, Noveline Williams Mills of Jamaica, winner here in 2007 and 2008. Got a best of 49.53 when she's at her best. Natasha Hastings of the United States, better known for her part in the Olympic 4x4 and the World Championships 4x4 for the United States. And Rosie White of Jamaica, another 4x4 athlete, only is 51.15 this season, incidentally, not going particularly well thus far. But the conditions, as Tim has said, absolutely perfect. Just waiting for the starter to call them to order. Sherika Williams and Noveline Williams Mills. Those are the 2 athletes highlighted there. It's a fast track by reputation. Noveline Williams away slowly, incidentally, didn't get away from the blocks at all well. And on the outside, Natasha Hastings of the United States has gone up very quickly indeed. The rest just maintaining the difference between them. Perhaps Sherika Williams going pretty strongly at the moment, as is Moncho of Botswana. Outside inside Moncho is Debbie Dunn in the 4th lane. But, just between 200 and 300 metres, we'll see how they perform here. Sherika Williams is going very strongly indeed, and we know this to be the case in the past. Right on the inside now, in lane 3, Debbie Dunn really starting to push away, as is Noveline Williams Mills. Sherika Williams, Debbie Dunn takes it, and right on the far side, Williams going well. It was pretty tight at the end. The time 49.82, and where we promised some fast times, didn't we? And Noveline Williams Mills was going pretty strongly towards 300 metres, and then Debbie Dunn, well, it showed with the form book, didn't it, as she came down the straight. from that fourth lane.
Yes, what a perfectly judged race by Debbie Dunn in lane 4. Certainly Sherika Williams led to 300 metres and was a metre or two up, but Debbie Dunn kicked hard again with 100 to go and just managed to maintain form better than the rest of them. Come through strongly there for second was Noveline Williams, I think, in lane 6, but I think Sherika Williams did hang on for second place, Stuart. Quick times though, 49.81 confirmed for Debbie Dunn. Wonderful run.
Yeah, it was 50.04, 50.04. But the high jump now in its final stages, and I do say that because it's a real class event this thus far. It's Yukov for a second attempt at 2 metres and 36. He cleared 2:30 and 2:33 on his first attempt. That nowhere near, but this is the fella that's got an indoor best of 2 metres and 40. He holds the national record and looks very, very strong. He's been strong the way through. His best outdoors, not quite as good at 2:35 set last year, but he is the world indoor champion recently. Well, there's confirmation of the result. Debbie Dunn, 49.81. Sherika Williams, 50.04. Noveline Williams-Mills in third, the same time. Second and third with season's best, as was Moncho and White. Good race.
Well, there's hardly a breath of wind in the Pontes Stadium this evening. It's very, very warm indeed. Probably too warm for distance running, in fact. Here's a replay of that 400 metres, and she really did battle it out, didn't she, Debbie Dunn there from lane 4. Had rivals either side of her trying to close. But wins by metre, the American champion. Perfectly judged.
Well, Rybakov now attempting 2:36 for the third time. Well, Rybakov, of course, terrific pedigree. World champion last year. World indoor champion back in 2006. He's got so many pedigrees. Olympic medalist. Didn't quite make it this time. So he will be in second place. He took him 3 attempts at 2:33 and 2 attempts at 2:30. Jamaican flags on sale. Usain Bolt is here, and he's been presented to the crowd. He's Lamin Diak, president of the international governing body of this sport. Here amongst a packed stadium. It's packed on all sides. And as Tim has said, it's very, very hot and very, very humid.
Well, I don't think too many of the athletes will be complaining about that, Stuart. Line up for the next event, it's middle distance time. And Mike Rimmer going in this one for Great Britain up against a host of top Africans, amongst them the world champion Mulautsi from South Africa, and David Rudisha, the poor man, the world #1 at the moment, who's outstanding favourite here. In fact, such has been his unbeaten form this season that I can only see Mulautsi getting near him, perhaps.
Well, back to this high jump now. A third and final for Ubakov. European indoor champion, world indoor champion. Oh, it was close. His personal best is 2:35, so he's attempting that, although, as I said earlier, he's been 2:40 indoors. But he wins it at 2:33 from Rybakov in second place, and Yanu of Cyprus in third. Britton Samsononi is down in 10th place with a clearance of 2:24.
Well, Jackson Kivuna, just 20 years old, the Kenyan in lane 1. He was third in the Kenyan Championships 10 days ago. And a World Championship finalist last year in Berlin. He was 9th. Remember, there were 10 men in that 800 final last year in Germany. Marcin Lewandowski of Poland in very good form, 144 this year, a World Championship finalist again. He's in 2. Then Mulautsi, the 29-year-old South African who ran the perfect race, control things, and take that world title last year. He's already won 143 this season. Richard Kiplagat won his semi-final at the Kenyan Championships in 146, perhaps an outsider here. Then Mike Rimmer in very good form, ran Bortsakovsky very close in a couple of weeks ago in Bergen in the European Team Championships, the 5-time British champion now. Alfred Kerr-Wayego, of course, has been around the block, the Olympic bronze medalist from 2008. He goes in 5 with Rimmer. Bram Som, the reigning European champion, 145 this year, but fighting his way back from injury. There is David Rudisha, 6'2" of this man who has run 142.04 this year. Went out in his semi-final of the World Championships last year, mind you, but he's in sparkling form. Luis Alberto Marco of Spain goes alongside him there. And Sami Tanguy completes the lineup, the pacemaker, who is due to go out in 49.5 seconds for 400 metres, Tanguy. But watch Rudisha out in lane 7, the tall figure in the black shorts and blue top to the right of picture, sharing a lane with Marco of Spain. Well, away they go. The pacemaker's job here, when they're looking to go in under 50 seconds at 400 metres. Very important indeed. Mulautsi's gone off quickly. Very quickly, in fact. And also going strongly at the moment is, as I come through at last, is Tanguy. Took some time to get to the front there. Rudisha just slotting into second place. The world champion, the heavily muscled Mulautsi, in third place. Olympic silver medalist back in 2004. He's been so consistent for the last 6 or 8 years, and it looks like a good, sensible pace, Stuart.
Yes, indeed, Jaeger's in fourth place, but there are 3 now. We shall check on the time as they go through, and of course the time we get will be of the pacemaker. Rudisha, who loves to lead now. The pacemaker lives with him, trains with him, 50.09, slightly slow. I was talking to Rudisha's agent earlier, and he said, don't necessarily expect a fast time from him, but he has been running all his races in the championships recently, through the rounds, always coming in first and running it from the front, but we'll see.
250 metres to go, and Rudisha controlling things at the moment. Jaeger's got some work to do. Kiplagat coming up on the inside. Mulautsi on his shoulder, though. It hasn't been startlingly fast, remember. Just outside 50 at 400. They're into the last 200 now, and still Rudisha's got several men breathing down his neck. The world champion Mulautsi. Jaeger, former world champion there. Remember, he took the title in 2007 in Japan. And off the bend, Rudisha's got to have a big kick here, because Mulautsi's a quick man, and he's got it. Changes gear. Flaps away with those arms, pushes clear, and the gap is 2 metres. Mulautsi finishing well. Jaeger in third, but 1:43.26, and frankly, that looked like a very, very casual stroll for young David Rudisha. He's only 21 years old. He had a couple of seconds to spare there, at least, on his personal best from Rieti last year at the end of last season. This is a young man who many believe has got the world record in his sights, if not this season, then in the next 2 or 3 years, because now that he's down in low 142s territory, he's the 4th fastest man in history, and frankly, he's unrivaled at the moment on the world scene. It's him against the clock.
Yeah, it is. When it came off the bend into the straight, you thought, well, Mulautsi was attacking, and there was a belief in the look of Mulautsi as he hit that straight. But then the big, tall, striding Rudisha moved away very strongly, didn't he? Jaeger coming through in third place. He was always in third or fourth. A little look, a little glance across by Rudisha. He's certainly the number 1 in the world at the moment, and is a front runner, and many would say, well, that's not necessarily tactical, but it is in his case. 1:43.25. And he made that look pretty easy. Off just outside 50 set, probably 51 and a bit. He went through the 400 metres in. So,
well, I was just going to say, Stuart, you don't see too many 1:43.2s run quite as casually as that. He's a very deceptive runner too, because he's so long in stride that he clears the ground well.
Well, earlier on, before the programme that we're with you in a moment, is discus, and Danny Samuels of Australia was third, incidentally. The world champion in Berlin, 62 metres and 5. It was her 3rd round throw. She had 3 throws over 60 metres in the competition. But Becky Breisch of the United States of America, 1st round throw of 64 metres and 53. Well, it was a season's best. Remember, she threw in New York. She was 5th here. She was well below her best, though. Her best stands at 67 metres and 37. But not much wind helping here. It's pretty still. The flags are dead. And the powerful Yadilis Barrios of Cuba, it was her 1st round throw as well. Our season's best. And this throw really hammered this one. 65 metres and 92. Remember, she's the Olympic silver medalist from Beijing. World silver medalist from Berlin. She had 3 throws over 64 metres, incidentally. Barrios. Very wide stance, moves across, a little bit off balance in the middle, I have to say that. There's more in the tank, certainly. Very powerful woman. And that discus just drifting away, just short of 66 metres. No heighted in the last competition, but this was better, much better. So there was the confirmation of that result. Barrios 65.92, Briche 64.53, and Danny Samuel 62 metres and 5. 2 seasons best there for the first two. Just going down from 6th to 9th place. Beatrice Foemina. Wow, she was world champion of the past, way back in the 90s. There's the diamond race standings, with Barrios leading with 8, Berkovic 5, Muller with 4, and Samuels and Thurmond on 3 each, and the rest you can see, 2, 2 and 1. 7 competitions across the season.
Well, you said there's a good crowd here tonight, Stuart. So delighted with this T-shirt weather. Several times in the last 10 years I've been sitting in these stands, and there's been a cold breeze blowing across the top of the plateau and hitting the stands, and jackets have been pulled on, but it's very, very humid, very warm, and really good spectating weather. Next event on the track, the men's 400-metre hurdles.
Well, there's the lineup for the men's 400-metre hurdles. In lane 1, Isa Phillips of Jamaica. 2 is Michael Tinsley, USA. Javier Coulson of Peru. USA represented by Bashawn Jackson in the 4th lane, and again by Karen Clement in lane 5, and again by Angela Taylor in 6th, Dominican Republic. Felix Sanchez in 7, and David Green of Great Britain in lane 8. It's a real championship field, this. Terrific lineup. You can't expect much more than this. World champions and Olympic champions here. Right on the inside, Isa Phillips was 5th in New York. There's 6 races under 48.5, so he's pretty consistent across the board, this fella. 48.87 is season's best. Going right on the inside. He won this race last year, of course. Mike Tinsley, United States. He was 6th in the Diamond League race in New York. 4 times under 48.50. It's really getting consistent, isn't it? Coulson, World Championship silver medalist last year, 48.09. Big improver. Watch for him. In the 4th lane, Bashawn Jackson then, won in Doha, was 2nd in New York. The Olympic bronze medalist, former world champion back in 2005. But Karen Clement here, the reigning world champion. 2nd in Doha, 1st in New York. Quite a tussle with Bashawn Jackson. Well, Angelo Taylor, what an all-round athlete he is. He was 4th in Rome in the 400 in 44.74, and a personal best in the 200 in Shanghai in 20.34. He's won the Olympic title twice, and Sanchez is also an Olympic champion back in Athens in 2004. Well, David Green, big improver, 48.77 in the European Championship trials, and this will be a real test of his mental capacity here, because the big names are all inside him. Set his personal best in Berlin in the World Championships at 48.27. Well, we'll see. Watch out for Coulson, though, because he is improving his best to 47.72. He ran that in May this year. So, Bashawn Jackson is the man outside him. He's gone back to 15 strides all the way around. He says it's much more comfortable for him. It's he has quite a good rhythm off the hurdles using that stride pattern. He's tried others, not quite as satisfactory. So Phillips, Tinsley, Coulson, Jackson, Clement, Taylor, Sanchez and Green. The men's 400-metre hurdles. Very slow start by Clement. Bashawn Jackson up on him already, but certainly Angelo Taylor, as usual, the big man, fires away. He's a sub-45 man. He's very, very strong indeed. Coulson looks very comfortable in the yellow strip as they approach 200 metres. Certainly Angelo Taylor leading, but he has led before into about 320 and faded badly as they come into the home straight. Sean Jackson looking very, very strong indeed. Clement is really nowhere in this at the moment. And this is certainly Angelo Taylor being run down by Sean Jackson. And Sean Jackson's coming away with this. And Taylor once again can't quite find the horsepower to take him through. Jackson wins. Taylor in second place, and in third place Felix Sanchez coming through very strongly in the final stage. Another quickie at 47.62, and that's a very, very fine run indeed. Sub 48 is good, and Sean Jackson is back, 47.62. Good run.
Well, only Jackson himself has gone quicker than that this year, Stuart, and even then by only 3/100ths of a second. Very, very fast finish from Jackson. He set off quickly too, didn't he? Away from the blocks, down the back straight, got into his rhythm nicely, but he's always finishing strongly. Green coming through on the outside quite well. Clement's way out of it. Taylor gets second. Sanchez just holding off Coulson over in lane 3. Desperate for the men in second, third and fourth, but Jackson looking very much in control.
Well, I must say, Tim, that whilst we look at the diminutive figure of Sean Jackson, Karen Clement was nowhere in this, and there must be something wrong with him, because we don't see that from this man. He really is a battler. And Angelo Taylor faded once again in the final stages, but another good performance by the twice Olympic champion. We've had several field events before this programme began. The women's triple jump again in third place, incidentally, was Svetlana Bolshakova, now representing Belgium. She jumped 14.43 in the second round. It was a new Belgian record. She's the new Belgian record holder. She had 3 jumps over 14 metres and 30. Olga Ripakova, I'll try again, Kazakhstan, world indoor champion this season. Second round jump of 14 metres and 60. Very rangy. That was followed by 4 no jumps, incidentally, but it was good enough to keep her in second place. Yagelis Savinya of Cuba left her best till the very last. She was leading from the third round with 14 metres and 82. Then in the fifth round, 14.81, and the final round, 14.99. World-leading performance, and that's it. So close to 15 metres. Fine technique, and that was the 1-2-3. Let's have another look at this. In fact, they may be showing more than... Oh no, it is a slow motion of that jump. Absolutely. It's a little bit to spare there, so clearly there's 15 metres, a little bit rushed in the middle, but tremendously strong. 14.99. Alternate arm shift in the middle. Good enough to win. White flag. You saw that. It was a good margin there. Look at this. 14.81, 14.99, 14.82. Very good series. Well, there's the formal result of the triple jump then. Savinya 14.99, world leading time, distance rather. Ripakova 14.60, Bolshakova 14.43. And the rest down to 8th place, 14.14. There are the points. Savinya leads with 10 points in the Diamond League thus far. Ripakova with 10. And Alekina, who didn't perform quite so well today, with 4 in third place.
Well, plenty of middle distance action being mixed in with the running and jumping and throwing, the quicker running, I should say. The women's 1,500 metres next up on the track.
Well, the high jump competition finished some time ago now. You saw actually the end of it, but let's just bring you up to date. Ianu of Cyprus got 2 metres and 30 on his second attempt. He took 2 attempts at 3 heights actually, 224, 227 and 230. Rybakov, Ianu was third, Rybakov was second. He got a third attempt clearance at 2 metres and 33. Took him 2 attempts at 230, incidentally. He failed 3 times at 236. But Ukov, having cleared 230 first time, 233 first time, just failed that 2:36. Very, that was his 2:33 incidentally. He failed 2:36 as you saw in the live programme earlier on. 2:35 is his best, but he's a 2:40 man indoors. So he's the national record holder indoors. For Russia, 2 meters and 40. That's some height, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. Ukov, 2:33, equals world leading height. Rybakov, second by virtue of countback, 2:33. Ionu, season's best, 2:30. Don Thomas equals his season's best at 2:30. There's Samsononi for British viewers, 2:24. Disappointing, looked good early on, but then faded. Well, there are the overall standings of points. Ukov 4, Bednarek 4, Thornbell 5. He didn't perform so well today, he was competing. Just bring you up to date with the result of the 400 metre hurdles in a moment.
Yes, we haven't actually had the official result of the men's 800 metres yet. I'm wondering if there's an appeal gone in, maybe somebody breaking from lane too early, something like that in the first 100 metres. Would be a great shame. It looked to pass off without any hiccups.
Well, there's confirmation of that 400 metre hurdles for Sean Jackson. 47.62. Angelo Taylor, season's best, good run, 47.96. Sanchez, 48.17. David Green, 48.49, a season's best behind Coulson. That's a very fine run indeed. There are the points. Overall, Sean Jackson, 12. Karen Clement, despite his demise here, with 10. And Angelo Taylor with 2.
Well, the shadow's lengthening. Almost 8:30 local time here in Stade Pontes. And the athletes getting ready for the start of this next event, the women's 1500 metres race, which features the Commonwealth champion, Lisa Dobrisky, the world champion, Mariam Jamal, of course, trains and lives here in Switzerland, and the Olympic champion, Nancy Jebet-Lagat. It's a very, very strong field indeed. Quite a few athletes in this lineup have broken the 4-minute barrier, which is conveniently a very, very tough class-defining time over the metric mile for ladies. Lagat, the Olympic champion, sharpened up nicely with an 800 metres in Eugene last Saturday. 4 women have broken 4 minutes in this race. Galeti Burka, well, 10th in the World Championships last year. That was disappointing. 3rd in New York 3 weeks ago in 4:03. There is Langat. And she, funnily enough, hasn't broken 4 minutes. Will she today? She is the world number 1, fastest in the world this year, having set a season's best with that big win in New York. Makestad there of Norway, used to be a great junior, struggled with injuries in recent years. Usani of the USA was only 5th in their US Championships over 800 metres, but maybe that will have been a useful sharpening. And the pacemaker is Eunice Sum on the extreme left of picture there on the outside. So 14 athletes then in this lineup. The fastest time in the world this year, as I said, 4:01 by Nancy Lagat. So we're looking for an opening 400 metres of around 63 seconds here. Talking to Lisa Dobrisky today, she said that around 2:06 has been requested for the 800 metre split. She felt that was too quick. That is, after all, about 3:56 pace, and Lisa and her coach George Gandy at lunch saying they prefer to sit back and finish strongly. Sure enough, there is Lisa in the all-blue strip towards the back of the field at the moment. But let's see how good a job Eunice Sum does here as pacemaker. That's she out in front. Langat, Olympic champion, slotting into second place. Ran a very useful 800 metres in Eugene last week. 1:57.7 there. That would suggest she's in shape to go well below 4 minutes here tonight if the pacemaking is right. That looks a little slow to me at 300 metres. We'll see how it goes at 400 metres. That'll give us a clearer idea. Looking, remember, for about 62.5, 63 seconds. Conditions are absolutely glorious. You don't get too many nights like this on the world scene. 64.41. a lot too slow, and that, I have to say, has to be down to the inexperience of the pacemaker. That's way outside. Frankly, she should have been about 2 seconds quicker than that. Might not sound like a lot, but it's a huge margin.
Yes, indeed, with Lagat, followed by Berth Thomas of the United States, with Galeta Burker, as you said, is in there. I was looking for Jamal, Tim, who's had an interesting season. It's certainly not been dominant over 1,500 metres that we've seen in the past. The best this season, 4:09.25. But certainly Lagat and Burker, these two, with Berth Thomas, chasing the pacemaker now as they come up to 2 laps to go in this 1,500 metres.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stuart, I'm just looking closely through that field, and I don't think Jamal's in there. That's bizarre. She's not started. There's nothing about it on our start list on the computer here in the stadium, but they come up towards 800 metres now, and even though that first lap was way too slow, Soom there with Langat, the Olympic champion, in a wake, beginning to get away from Burker. 800 metres, 2:07. She's tried to rectify things there with a 62.9. Well, that lap was fine. The first lap certainly wasn't. I wonder whether Langat had a little shout at her in Swahili.
Dobrisky now moving up from the back of the field, trying to make some headway and to get to contact. She's moving up place by place now, and she's in about 8th place. Now she's moving up to 7th place, the World Championship silver medalist, of course, but there's an awful lot of work to do. She said earlier that there's still some racing left. She wants to get herself race fit. She has selection for the European Championships and needs races, and this is a very, very big one indeed.
Well, still at the front is the Olympic champion Langat. Burker in 2nd place. Belete, that is Mimi Belete of Ethiopia, in 3rd place. And then as they go through the bell in around 2:56, that's Lacaud moving up down the outside. Lacaud of Morocco. Tall figure with the blonde ponytail. But 300 metres to run. Burker's a quick finisher. Tucked in there in 2nd place. Lacaud in 3rd. 3:12 there. That lap a little slower, 65.07. But it is nonetheless very, very good pacemaking so far through this middle section from Langat, because that's what she's been for the rest of them for the last lap and a half. And Lacaud now hits the front. Where's she got the audacity to do that from? Lacaud it is. She's a 4:04 athlete this year, that's all. She was 12th and last in the Olympic final 2 years ago. Langat on her shoulder, maybe appreciating this one. Always easier to come off somebody's shoulder. Burker in 3rd place. And these three well away now. Look at the gap behind them. 6 or 8 metres behind them. Lacaud down the home straight. And Langat doesn't seem to have the legs to come through. Burker does. The little Ethiopian's fighting past the Olympic champion. Can she get all the way? I think she can. It's going to be so tight at the line. And she does steal it there. 3:59.26. The fastest time in the world this year. The Olympic champion Lagat beaten into 3rd place. What a run from Burker. She battled all the way down the home straight. Really fought for every inch and got there by about an inch. Poor Lacaud there. Ibtissam Lacaud, the Moroccan. That would have been the biggest win of her career, I'm sure. She was 4th in Doha in her season's best of 4:04 about 6 weeks ago. But she left that daylight to her left, and that perhaps was the problem. She'd stuck to the curb. Although Burker coming through on the outside. Great race.
Well, Burker's got the full range, hasn't she? And that strength endurance just told in the final stages there. Langat gave up a little bit of the ghost to look at that. That just shows you that was all guns blazing for those athletes. And a very fine run by Burker. We've seen Burker over 3,000 and 5,000 metres. She's very good over the range, and that's a world-leading time, as you said, 3:59.28. And this enthusiastic crowd here in this Olympic stadium. Lacaud must have thought she'd got it. Look at that, eyes closed, grimacing. Langat has given up. She's going to be 3rd, and Burker just creeps past. And the grimace on the face of Lacaud. But that was just about, a foot at the end. And Burker had to go for it. She really had to work hard for that. Lacaud, good run.
Well, Burker winning there in the fastest time in the world. Lacaud setting a national record, under 4 minutes. The Moroccan improving her personal best by almost 4 seconds.
Well, the pole vault competition is now going, and we're in the early stages here. Derek Miles At 560, cleared 550, 3 failures at 560. So he's gone from the competition. Just looking up, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left in the competition thus far. So no doubt we'll bring you up to date with that as we go along.
Well, the times are coming out quick, aren't they? In every single discipline on the track, it underlines just how critical great conditions and a good, knowledgeable crowd are. Switzerland, of course, along with the UK and the USA, the only countries to be hosting 2 Diamond League meetings. The UK has Gateshead and Crystal Palace. Zurich, of course, is the first of 2 finals in this Diamond League series. And there's the time for Burke, the winner in the 1500 metres. 3:59.28 from Lacau, broaching new ground with a national record, 3:59.35, and Langat in third. The place time strong look, 8th place, 4:03. Well, in the Diamond League standings, Langat still leads. He'll have earned 1 point tonight with that 3rd place, but Burke in second with 7. Defar back down in 3rd.
Miss Neal at 570, he's passed at 560, cleared 550 on his first attempt. No. Decelerated into the box there and paid the penalty in the end. It's a first time failure at that height. Neil. It's a big competition, this pole vault competition. It certainly is, with Hooker in it. Villani is there as well. Cibalisco is there, the Italian. Well, there's the lineup for the men's 110 metres high hurdles. Capetillo, Yarborough, Boda, Payne, Wilson, Robles, Thomas and Turner. And it's a very, very strong field indeed. It includes the world record holder, Darren Robles. It was here that in 2006 that Liu Jiang broke the world record for the 110 metre hurdles, taking the new figure to 12:88. But of course Liu Jiang came back, or Robles came back and beat it, 12:87 in Ostrava. That's Capetillo, 13:69 in Havana, his best season's best. He's got a personal best of 13:46, all on right on the inside. Semi-finalist in the World Indoor Championships recently. Another Cuban conveyor belt of high hurdlers over the years. Yarborough of the United States got a best this season of 13.36. So a whole host of Americans coming through in this event. Now Swoboda, big improver, 13.27 in Prague on the 5th of June. He was 6th in the World Championship final last year, 8th in Rome in the Diamond League thus far this season. Now David Payne, the Olympic silver medalist, good championship performer really. Best 13.02 in Osaka, the World Championships. He was 3rd. Ryan Wilson, good race he had in Eugene, 13.16 in 2nd behind David Oliver's 12.90. Darren Robles, let's just listen to the reception he gets. World record holder, Olympic champion, won in Rome 8 times under 13 seconds. Although he won in Rome and he ran quickly, close to 13 seconds, not that impressive. Dwight Thomas was 5th in the World Championships in 2005. He's a Jamaican, said I'm too slow in the flat, I'm going to the hurdles. Andrew Turner, 13.27 in the World Championships in Osaka 2007, now needs to move up a gear, it really does. So, Capetillo, Yarborough, Swoboda, Payne, Wilson, Robles, Thomas and Turner, the men's 110 metre hurdles. Robles, the world indoor champion this season, over 60 metres. Good starter. Had terrific edge there, but seemed to lack it in Rome. But this is a quick track. Will we see another sub-13 second performance here? Will Ryan Wilson prevail, the man next to him in the white top? It's either a faulty or a false start. If it's a faulty start, there'll be a green card. But I just wonder, well, it's certainly not obvious from that. Svoboda? Don't know. Svoboda has got a 0.025 time against him on reaction time, so if anybody is going to get it, then it could be him.
Yeah, he's gone, Stu.
I thought it was gone, yeah.
How frustrating.
Well, it's on a season with a great lineup like this, and Svoboda's gone, and that's a great, great shame. What an opportunity missed here. Of course, he had to get away to compete with Payne next to him, and then Wilson and Robles in particular. But
he is waiting to be told, well, Stu. He's not volunteering.
I have to say I would too. Yeah, the red card is there, and he's gone. And Dwight Thomas is saying, I think it was me. Now, what's he trying to do? Because Dwight Thomas hasn't.
No, they're both gone. I think they're both been penalised.
Hang on, I think they have. Svoboda at 0.25.
Yeah, Thomas
went before the actual timing started, so I think he's gone as well. Yes, he has. Well, he's having a look.
What's frustrating for Andy Turner now, of course, he's in lane 8. It's bad enough being in lane 8 anyway, away from the centre lane action, but now he's got an empty lane to his left, lane 7, so really isolated. That's far from ideal for Andy.
Yeah, well, you see, even there it's not obvious, is it?
But it doesn't need to be, does it? It's about the pressure applied to the blocks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let me remind you then, Capetillo of Cuba in lane 1, Yarborough, United States in 2, and then in lane 4, David Payne, 5, Ryan Wilson, 6, Daron Robles, and Andy Turner out in lane 8. So a depleted team, or field out here, and Andy away from the action. That may be a good thing in a way. Well, Robles got away brilliantly, he really did. Payne is going strongly as well, but Robles and Payne, Wilson hitting hurdles under pressure now. Robles coming away very strongly. This is a better performance by Robles. Payne's going to come in second place, and Wilson in third, and 13.01, just outside the 13-second barrier. And the wind speed, 0.3. Remember, David Oliver's wind speed, if I remember correctly, was 1.7 metres per second behind. This is only 0.3, so, you know, they're getting closer and closer. But Robles got a brilliant start there, he really did. Wilson was going well, and David Payne also. Those were the three in the picture. They were, I guess, going along with the script. But 13.01, that is pretty quick. That's a much better performance than I saw him in Rome. And he'll be happier with that.
No, I think you're right, Stuart. Very, very strong run from Robles. Almost a demonstration run, really, because he got such a good start. It was well away from Ryan Wilson in the white vest, smashed into that third barrier hard. Andy Turner to the left, working away, ended up in 4th place. Came through strongly, though, did Wilson, over in lane 4. Was it Payne, rather? And Robles' time confirmed for 13.01 to Ryan Wilson's 13.21. 0.2 of a second in hurdling terms. A big margin of victory. But you're right, if you were to put that wind behind him that David Oliver enjoyed in Eugene a week or so ago, then he'd have been down towards the same sort of time as Oliver's 12.90, which, of course, still stays way out there in front on the world rankings.
Technically, it was pretty good from Robles here. He runs off the hurdle so well. That first stride off the hurdle's brilliant. He's chopping in the middle, and that's a good sign in a way. And his sprint speed is pretty tough. He looked across, he desperately wanted a sub-13, you can tell. But he didn't get it, but it was very, very fast indeed. And Andy Turner's time, 13.30, a season's best, so it's a good move forward. Well, there's the formal result of that 110-metre hurdles. Robles 13.01, Wilson given second place over Payne, 13.21 to 13.22, with Turner 13.30 in 4th place. Perfect conditions for athletics here, as we've said several times before, and you can now get a good look at this crowd. It really is big crowd. It's always been a good meeting here in Lausanne. This is first season. It wasn't in the Golden League. It's now rightfully in the Diamond League, the Samsung Diamond League. The javelin, another event which is well received in this part of the world, I can tell you. Martinez. Let's have a look and see what's going on. Koval's 82-30 first round. Nothing much has happened yet. We've still got Pitkamaki and Thorkelson to come.
I'll tell you what, though, the Cubans having a good evening on the field. Savinho winning that triple jump with a world-leading performance, 14.99. Barrios winning the discus with 65.92. I think Martinez is up against a different sort of competition to get out in front, but an 80-metre opener there puts him in third place.
Yeah, he's got a season's best of 86.38, so he's going well. Vasily of the Czech Republic will be next up. I'm not sure whether we'll get a look at him right now, but there's a big event coming up.
There is indeed, yes. I can tell you that Usain Bolt goes in the next race, the men's 100 metres. It was specially inserted into the programme yesterday. He was down to run the 200 metres, but on doctor's orders, he's not running a curb flat out just yet, protecting that Achilles injury, which has kept him away for some, well, 42 days, I think it is.
Well, there is a women's, sorry to interrupt you there, Tim. There's a women's long jump competition on the far side about to start. Let's have a look and see. We've had, well, I say about to start, we've got a 680 jump from Gomes, and one would expect that. And Kucharenko is the last to jump in that first round. But we'll bring you up to date with that in a moment.
There is the field, and the big name goes in lane 4. He was introduced to the crowd just before he came on air, and there was an enormous roar around the Ponte Stadium. Bolt in 4. Look out for Charandi Martina in lane 5 beside him. But really just to put up a solid run rather than produce anything that should really threaten the Jamaican. Bolt, of course, running a 300 metres back in Ostrava on the 27th of May, and as a result, picking up a slight Achilles injury in what was rather a damp evening. Schenkel, well, he is due to be in one, is Reto Amar Schenkel of Switzerland. Just 22 years old. He's a 10.55 man this year at best, although he holds the Swiss national junior record with 10.45 from 4 years ago. Well, there's been some significant switching around of lanes, I can tell you. There is Mr. Bolt, as if you needed any clarifying now. He's due to go in lane 4, according to our computer. Our start list had him in lane 5, so a little bit of confusion going on. It looks like he is in lane 4.
We'll soon find out once they start.
Yeah, it would help. There is Schenkel. Devoid of the basketball shorts now, I think. Ainsley War goes in lane 2. Another of that Jamaican squad. 10.25 this year. He's a member of the Commonwealth gold medal winning relay squad from 2006. And rounding into shape is War, 10.25, 10.33 and 10.33 in his last couple of races, but many metres slower than his teammate. Leroy Dixon goes in lane 3. Dixon 6th in the US Championships recently. 10.13 this year. I have to tell you, this field has been cobbled together very quickly for this man, Usain Bolt. He was due to run a 200 metres, as I say. There was no competition for him until 24 hours ago. But of course, he will put the boat out for the man who's got 3 Olympic golds from Beijing, 3 golds from Berlin last summer, world records galore. But missed 3 weeks completely from training, resting that Achilles after Ostrava on the 27th of May. And just easing back into racing mode, I think you could say. Lane 5, Charandi Martina, who, as I said, on his night is a pretty useful performer. Martina, his personal best 9.93 from his 4th place in the Olympic Games 2 years ago. Blake there goes in lane 6. The Jamaican is just 20 years old. He's a 9.93 man. Brendan Christian goes in 7. The Antiguan has only run 10.33 this year. He's not in great form by the looks of things. And in lane 8 is Jamie Samuels. And when I say Jamie, it's spelled J-M-E-E of the USA, who ran 10:51 last week in Norway. Well, when you think that Bolt's world record is almost a full second quicker than that, 9.58, remember, in Berlin in the middle of August last year at those World Championships, you realise that this is not too much short of an exhibition run for the Jamaican. He goes in lane 4, Schenkel in 1, Waugh in 2, Dixon in 3, Bolt in 4, Martina in 5, Blake in 6, Christian 7, Samuels in lane 8. There's a very important run in Bolt's fight back to full racing fitness. He goes in 4. Well, away they go. Not a brilliant start from Bolt, but he's up and running now and beginning to ease away from the rest. Going well on this side is Christian in the yellow, but it's Bolt winning and winning comfortably there by a couple of metres. 9.82 for Usain Bolt. Well, it's 1/10 of a second of Asafa Powell's meeting record. He ran 9.72 2 years ago, did Powell, but that's solid enough from Usain Bolt. I think he'll be delighted with that one. Very, very good run in second place there. My word, did he come through stronger? I think it was Brendan Christian for Antigua, who I thought would have been very close to the 10-second barrier himself, something he's never broached. But Bolt, 9.82 there, the wind plus 0.5, so very little help indeed there for the wind. And I got the impression he took it a little easy out of the block, Stuart, at the beginning of that one.
Yes, certainly. We were talking to his people this morning, and they say that he came via Berlin, where he had treatment on his Achilles. He said he'd been running with a little bit of discomfort prior to the hold-up in his career this season. And when they actually got to grips with it, he had a very inflamed Achilles tendon. And on the way here, he went to Berlin. He was advised not to take on Dix in the 200 metres, not because it's Dix, but because of the bend. He wasn't ready to take a full bend. And really, it's good to see him back here, and I hope there's no aftershock of this. I really do. Brendan Christian, as you said, we're going very strong indeed, but that's a very, very good run by Bolt, and he's easing through along. There's much more in the tank. We've seen that before, but that's a very good comeback indeed. Very much an exhibition. It's a way back for him. We'll see whether he runs in Paris. And that'll be the first of the big confrontations, and then finally in Brussels, hopefully against Tyson Gay, when we can get the real matchup. And we want to see some matchups now between the big names. Dixon Gay matched up over 200 in Eugene, and it was a terrific race. And here another little look from the other side. For a big man, he's got terrific leg speed, high knees, high hips high, and terrific technique. There's so much natural talent there as well. And really the Jamaicans loving this man. He's holding the sport in a way together in terms of the celebrities of the moment. He is.
He is, Stuart, but you need to see matchups, don't we? We want to see him against Tyson Go. We want to see him against Dix, who goes in the 200 metres tonight. I guess we can let him have that one. He's got to get back into racing mode. 9.82 for Usain Bolt to win that 100 metres. 9.96 from Johan Blake, a season's best. Jamaicans 1, 2 and 4 then. Martina 10.16, but Usain Bolt is back. And back in some style, and didn't they love it?
Well, the javelin now, let's bring you up to date with that. Kovals, 82 metres and 30. I think, just looking across, and I think that was his first round throw, incidentally, which at 82.30. They're into the second round now. It's just catching up. It took him into second place. 84.15 Torkelson through at the end of that first round. Pitkamaki had a no throw, just to bring those up today. Here is Torkelson, and this is his first round throw that I've just given away at 84 metres and 15. But nevertheless, this competition just catching up to the live situation. This man, there's such a small margin between hitting that javelin along the line. They like a breeze over the shoulder when they hit the javelin. It used to be a headwind they needed, but now with the change in the centre of gravity of the javelin, the technology's changed, and they do like a little breeze over the shoulder, but they've got to get that elevation right, and they've got to hit it hard along the line of the javelin. And once it's all right, then you've got so many metres difference. But there it is, 84.15 in the lead.
Well, back to this pole vault competition. And Menil failing yet again. Frenchman is a 5.95 vaulter at his best, but Menil there going out with a third time failure at 5.70. It's a height which is really finding people out. Several other athletes going out at this height. Steve Hooker, incidentally, the Olympic and world champion, sitting out this height, having cleared 5.60 with his first effort. The only vault he's had so far. But for Menil, that's frustrating. They can't blame the wind tonight. Wonderful, wonderful conditions wherever you are in this arena. And the flags are absolutely still. There is the lineup for the women's 3,000 metres. They're gathered over on the back straight by the 200-metre start. It's a big field, 17 athletes in there, no less. Tverdostup of Ukraine will be a pacemaker. She's done it well on several occasions this year, but what a field there is here. The Olympic 5,000-metre champion in 2004 and the world record holder at 5,000 metres goes in this one. Defar Koriquiang, well, fourth in Eugene over 5,000 last week. Koriquiang, second in the Kenyan championships over 10,000 metres. No Dibaba here tonight, by the way. She won Eugene last Saturday in 14.34. Kibet there, Sylvia Kibet is an 8.41 athlete this season. The Kenyans really are here in force, some 10 of them in this field. Ejegu, Defar there, we flitted past Defar, I'm not quite sure why. She's the World Championship bronze medalist from last year. Inez Chinonge, well, the world number 2 at 3,000 this year, second in the Kenyan 5,000 metres championship 10 days or so ago. She's run 8.38 this year. Fastest time in the world this year, well, it is 8.38 by Fernandez of Spain. That's a very vulnerable time, I can tell you. And they are planning to go up pretty quickly. It's 67 seconds per lap. That's about 8.24 pace. If they can maintain that, they'll be doing well here tonight. Anything under 8.30 is very special. But Defar this year, well, second in New York over 1,500 metres in 4.02. She won the world indoor title over this distance in Doha back in March. She won in Hengelo in a windy 5,000 metres right at the beginning of the season. But this is her first outdoor 3,000 of 2010. Watch out too for Mel Kamu, won the 10,000 metres in Ostrava. She's the world number 1 at that distance. And she might be one to push it along. She's in third place at the moment.
Well, certainly they've gone off pretty slowly indeed. It's very pedestrian in the early stages of this race, Tim, and the point you make about who's going to take it on, it's going to be down to the finishers unless this race really develops very quickly indeed. And the pacemaker had a look round to see what was going on there, but we'll see. Defar, of course, we remember in Oslo when she broke that world record at 5,000. Chariot was chasing her behind, and those two have developed the event since then. And Masai, of course, a specialist over 10,000 metres, world champion, is in this field. It's absolutely loaded, but really we're going to see this bunch all together for a long time unless somebody really does start to take it on.
Well, she's very heavily muscled, Tverdostup, doesn't she? She looks like a 400-metre runner, really. She's better known as an 800-metre athlete, but that first 400, very cautious indeed. Some way outside what was required. Now she's trying to pick it up, and only Mel Kamu is going with her there, the short figure in second place. Rene Kalma, had a chat with her yesterday, the South African, in third place at the moment, said she's hoping for a personal best here. She actually set her PB just a month or so back. But these two beginning to get away, the pacemaker Tverdostup and Mel Kamu, and the pack, don't know why, but really faltering there behind Kalma, nobody prepared to take it up. Defar is in fifth place at the moment, maybe just beginning to recognise that danger and moving up into, well, no, she's not, as I say that, so they now begin to go round Kalma. Ejegu, it is in the red there, Defar in fourth. Down the back straight. They need to close that gap because give Mel Kamu her rein and she will push on very hard. 800 metres there in about 2:18. That's a couple of 69s, and that's awful. They're looking for 67s, but having said that, nobody seems to be up to the task here tonight, really, from the main pack. Kalmar dropping backwards now as they stream past her. She's in the middle of the pack at the moment. Ejigo it is in third in the red. Jen Rhines, well, she's having a bit of a bad one. She was 8th in Eugene last week over 5,000 metres. It would appear that the American, right off the bat now, has not travelled well.
And Masai is moving up very strongly now towards the front of the pack with 5 laps to go. And now she finds herself in second place, the tall figure, the world 10,000 metre champion. And of course, she has got a finish on her, but she knows that she's going to have to run a lot faster than this if she's going to run the legs off some of these, particularly the Chariots and the Defars of this world. Ejigo, as you've already mentioned, has dropped back now into, what, 5th place at the moment.
Yeah, 2:54 for that first kilometre, very slow indeed. I mean, quite disappointing. In fact, it's sort of bringing them home in a time in the mid-8:40s, not much quicker. Masai, well, remember, she beat all the Ethiopians last year. I'll break off for this throw from Pitkamaki.
Well, Pitkamaki then no throw in the first round. This is second round throw. The Finnish former world champion really hitting that javelin hard, but it's not. It's going to fall very, very short. He was said to be working on the delivery in his javelin. It's certainly not working for him at the moment. He's a 91.53 throw at his best. Okay, that was back in 2005. But he's got a season's best of 86.92. That was at the end of June. He steps on the line, says, don't measure that, for goodness sake. So Pitkamaki has 2 no throws and needs to get a third one in to get additional throws in this competition. Great shame because his form's gone for the moment.
Well, still Sverdrup at the front there. Masai in second, as you said, Stu, with Melkamu in third, Defar in fourth, Ejigo in fifth. But Masai, I was on the way to saying how she outfoxed the Ethiopians last year, winding it up over the last 3,000 metres in that World Championship 10,000 metres final. She won the Kenyan cross-country this winter by some 20 seconds, did Masai, so very, very strong. She's wintered well, and I think she'll know full well that over 3,000 metres she needs to make a pretty long run for home, does Masai. She was second in Shanghai over 5,000 metres. She's an athlete who does have good speed, but not sufficient to live with the likes of Defar, and hence I think she will see her begin to wind it up from here on. Defar there in third place in the black and yellow, behind Melkamu. Just moving up down the outside behind that trio is Chariot. Chariot, who is Vivian Chariot, who is the world champion at 5,000 metres in the pink, in fourth place now. But look at the bunch there with 3 laps to go. It's a clear indication the pace isn't really quick enough. Masai glances round there because Melkamu must have clipped her.
Well, the long jump on the far side of the stadium just breaking off there for a moment. Rus had 2 no jumps thus far in the competition. Silja Rus of Switzerland just giving a look of the local athlete.
Well, Masai still leading. That is coming up to 2,000 metres. And I'll tell you what, it's very slow indeed. It's 2:5:51, can you believe? Goodness me. That second kilometre, about 2:57. What a shame. They really have let this go on an evening when I think you could justifiably have expected them to perhaps have a little hard run out and see what they could do against the clock. Kalmar towards the back there, but still virtually in touch. As Chariot now hits the front for the first time. Defar watching every move she makes.
I just wonder, Tim, who makes these pace-making judgments, whether it's managers or athletes these days, because they clearly went into this race not with the intention of a fast time, but the intention of winning and getting points.
71 seconds there. I think the phrase, Stuart, is you can take a horse to water. But when he gets there, it's his choice what he does. And these athletes tonight have had a pacemaker out there. They chose not to go with the pace right from the beginning, even though it wasn't very quick. And leave it down to what? Effectively an 800 metres, because it's been a very slow first 2 kilometres. Now Chariot just beginning to wind it up. Can she do what Masai did last year? Can she outfox? Can she outthink these Ethiopians, who are themselves very astute tacticians? Masai on the inside, the tall figure in black. Defar will be gathering herself mentally, the 26-year-old, for this. World champion over 5,000 in 2007. Olympic champion, remember, over that distance in 2004. Bronze medalist last summer. She's 4 times world indoor champion, including taking gold at this distance in Doha just, some 3 or 4 months ago, and they come down towards the bell now, and this is going to be very much a quick athlete's race. Chariot leading from Defar, and they hit the bell there, and around 7:35, and moving around the outside is Bekele. Ejigu on the inside, and the red is still very much there. Chinonge back in 6th place. Melkamu in the blue in 56, beginning to ease away, and Masai left wanting for speed. She's the character leading that second group, but 6 away now down the back straight. Chariot still gradually cranking it up. Every 50 metres or so, I'm sure you see an acceleration. Defar on her shoulder, though. She's left a lot of daylight on the inside. She's going to get past on the inside if she's not careful. Into the final 200 metres. It's a Chariot from Defar. Ejigu on the inside. Bekele on the outside, coming wide. She's got a lot of running to do. But look at the determination on the face of Bekele there, really pumping away with those arms. The tiny figure of Chariot stays clear. Look at the cadence on the little Kenyan. She winds herself up, sprints clear and stays clear. That's a lovely run. She really has shown them how to do it here tonight. That final lap, well, I got it at about 59 seconds flat for Vivian Chariot. Very, very clever run indeed. Never gave them a chance. There were shades of Lassie Viren there. Get to the front and just stay there. And if they try to come past, pick it up and pick it up and pick it up. They've always got to come wide. They've got to run the long meterage. And she perfected that technique tonight. Glorious win for the Kenyan. The time 8:34. Well, it's not bad, Stuart, but it's the manner of the win that's more important, even though it's the fastest time in the world.
Yeah, it is a world-leading time, but you're quite right. It was the manner, the tenor of the race. But certainly Vivian Chariot played it beautifully, didn't she? Defar looked as though she'd got the berth on the inside, but couldn't quite match up the speed. Grimace on that face, and Bekele coming through to take 2nd place, just off shot on the left of your picture. But Chariot, good run by the world champion at 5,000 metres in Berlin last year. She really showed form in Oslo a couple of seasons or so ago, and now proving herself race after race.
Well, a huge new personal best there for Bekele in 2nd place. She's a former Ethiopian, now running in the colours of Turkey. Steve Hooker then. And Hooker. One clearance so far at 5:60. The bar at 5:80 for the Olympic champion. Oh yes, and he's found his form at last. He's placed himself in Cologne for the last month or so, and he's had a couple of very, very iffy competitions, notably in Oslo and then in 1 or 2 other venues, but he's found the groove now. He vaulted 5:80 10 days or so ago. There he goes once again. He clips it, but that puts him in the lead. Steve Hooker with his 2nd vault of the night. Well, with the way the vault's going this season, Stuart, with a real lack of strength and depth, I mean, let's see, there's only 4 men left in the competition. He might have won it there and then.
His high point was early, wasn't it? And he almost dislodged the bar on the way down. But that indicates that, yeah, he's get that height up. He's saying, he's just saying get that bar up there. 5:85. He wants to have a go at. But he's a 6-metre vaulter.
Well, I'm not sure he's actually in a position because it takes the height the bar goes up to. It's due to go up to 5:85, and there's other men still in the competition.
Yeah, well, I think he's saying that he's going to go at 5:85 when it comes.
Lamine Diak to the right of picture there, as Stuart said, a fascinated spectator. Usain Bolt being introduced to the crowd has just been interviewed there, down on the infield.
Another look at Martinez in the javelin. That one at around about 79 metres. He's got 80.47 and 82.40 thus far. He's in 2nd place. That's just short of 80 metres on that one. By the look of it, Torkelson still leading with 84 metres and 15 with his 1st round throw, and then he had a no throw in the 2nd round. He really is a solid citizen, isn't he? There it is, 79.55 then. Still in 2nd place.
Well, the sun has now gone, as you can see, but it's still very warm, thankfully.
The women's 100 metres. There's the lineup. Chandra Stirrup, Sharon Simpson, Alex Anderson, Shelley-Ann Fraser, Carmeletta Jetta, Ashanti Moore, Sherry-Ann Brooks, and Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie. Good field as always.
Pitkämäki then. 2 no throws. This is critical for the Finn. He's got to get this one right. He's got to hit this one right. If he doesn't, he plays no further part in this competition, the double world champion. That's more like it. That's not bad at all. High 84s, as you can see. And when the pressure's on, the big names will deliver. All about the angle of attack. His previous throw, remember, he put just as much effort into it, and it fell short of 75 metres. He's just put about 10 metres, 12 metres onto his previous throw, but got it right. 84.71, he takes the lead. Thorkildsen on 84.15 with his opener.
I'm just looking down at the start and I can't see Shelly-Ann Fraser of Jamaica. Let's go through the lineup. Chandra Stirrup of Bahamas, former world indoor champion. Yeah, Fraser does not start. It's up on the computer now. Sharon Simpson, Jamaica, best of 10.82. She was 6th in Eugene. Silver medalist in the Olympics, of course. Alex Anderson, 11.02, her best. 5th in the US National Championships over 200 metres, 22.83 a time. There's the lane in which we would have seen the Olympic champion. But Carmeletta Jetta, who finished last season so superbly with a 10.64 and a whole range of sub-11 second times. Ashanti Moore won the 200 in Oslo. We pointed out that she'd run inside her lane and subsequently she was disqualified. She won in Rome. She was 5th in Eugene in 10.99. Sherry-Ann Brooks of Jamaica, 4th in the World Indoor Championships recently. And Debbie Ferguson McKenzie. Well, she's contested both sprint finals in 3 successive Olympic Games. Such is her talent and her how durable is that? So, Stirrup, Simpson, Anderson, Jetta, Moore, Brooks and Debbie Ferguson McKenzie. That's Carmeletta Jetta. Won in Shanghai, was 3rd in Eugene in 10.83. Won in Oslo over 200 metres. Got a bronze in the indoor championships over 60 metres. See how she goes here.
Set.
Well, Jetta gets away well beautifully at the moment, and so does Brooks on the near side, but Jetta going well, and so is Simpson on the inside lane, and Jetta and Simpson, these two. Jetta comes away and gets there. Simpson in 2nd. In 3rd, I think, is Chandra Stirrup. We'll check on that in a moment, and the time, 10.99. Good run again by Jetta, and Sharon Simpson showing some form as well. But Jetta, another sub-11 second performance. And just looking down into a headwind of 0.6 metres per second. And 10.99, 11.15, that's unofficial at the moment, of course. And then I would think Stirrup's time would be very close to that, yeah, 11.18 in 3rd place.
Well, what a great start there from Sharon Simpson over in lane 2. She's long of leg, but it took 50 metres for Jetta to catch her. But once the American caught her, my word, did she turn it on. Look at that high knees, powering away, very, very determined, intense there between 50 and 80. That's where she did the damage. And as you say, Stuart, winning, going away, 10.99 to 11.15 is actually quite a big margin.
Yeah, she's one of John Smith's stable of sprinters. He's nurtured so many over the years. As the man, he's here, making sure all his athletes are in form. And a very good run indeed by Jetta. There's been a lot of atmosphere here. There really has. A terrific crowd. I've said that several times, but my goodness me, it is, and it creates such a wonderful atmosphere.
Well, I suppose their travels are now over, aren't they, Stuart? The Americans, they'll have come over with their big bags for the next few weeks and base themselves in Europe with a lot of racing to be done. Renaud Lavillenie, then the big French name, has had 1 vault so far at 5.70. That was no problem, as you could see. Here he goes. He's passed the last 2 heights. The bar now at 5.85. He oozes confidence, this man. Oof, no.
I tell you what, he is totally committed on that approach. It's such a fast approach, and when he hits the box at the back and really attacks, And just his high point once again, just a little bit in front, comes down onto the bar. Have a look at this, there. Comes down, it's an adjustment he needs to make. But certainly this man who's capable of, 6 metres, 6:01, the national record he set in June last year. He had a poor World Indoor Championships just recently, though, in Doha. That's Carmelita Jeter.
Smiles all round. Very much number one.
Well, there's the evidence of that 100 metres. Jeter, 10.99. Sharon Simpson, 11.15. Chandra Stirrup, 11.18 in third place. Season's best for Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie. Evergreen, really at 11.27. And there are the points. 5 for Jeter. Simpson, 2. Stirrup, 4. I'm not sure that's right. Veronica, that's better. That's better. Jeter, Campbell, Brown and Moore in that order overall the season thus far. Kucherenko in the long jump on the far side of the stadium here. We haven't caught up with much of that at the moment. We'll see how she goes. I think that is around about 6.50. She's got a 6.58. Lovely hang technique. Certainly well short of 7 metres, but look at it. It's a very basic but simple hang technique to avoid all the rotation, unwanted rotations. I just wonder where that plays. Oh, 6.47, she's in 4th place.
Well, it's the men this time at the bottom of the back straight, the 1,500 metres. And what a lineup this one is. Look out for Amin Lalou, who ran so impressively in his mile debut last Saturday in Eugene, the USA. The Moroccan running 3:50 exactly for his first ever full mile race. Balal Mansour Ali of Bahrain there, won here in 2007. Rono, well, a 3:33 man, this man, that was for 5th in Shanghai. Kroniek, 3rd in Madrid in a storm-affected meeting a week ago. Gathimba, 3:34 this year. Boulefan, who is a well-known name on the circuit, has also run quickly this year. But Kemboy, well, Nicholas Kemboy, 3:33 this season. He was 3rd in the Kenyan Championships. He won New York in a personal best of 3:33. Daniel Kipchirchir Komen, the fastest man in the field on paper with 3:29, although only 3:33 this season. Lalou I rather fancy. He beat Bortsakovsky over 800 metres in Russia a couple of weeks back very impressively. Ran 1:43 there.
Well, going back to La Villenie, I should say. And you get, he was so close, wasn't he, on that at 5:85, a second attempt.
So I don't think that was a full start so much as a faulty start for that 1,500 metres. The pacemaker, incidentally, there are 3 pacemakers due to be Philemon Kimutai, Ismail Kombic and Vixen Polonet in that order. And they are looking for around 5:55 seconds for the first lap is due, 1:52 at 800 metres. There haven't been many fast 1500s yet this year, rather strangely, since we're now almost in mid-July. The meeting record is held by the disgraced Saidi Sif, who ran 3:29 back in 2001. He was later busted for EPO. But they set off at a fairly healthy pace here. Lalou, very cunning racer, only met his match with the Olympic champion last Saturday in Eugene. Kiprop beating him over the mile in 3:49. 300 metres there in about 42 seconds. It's a little on the slow side for what is wanted. Then there are those believers who think that a steady pace through a 1500 is the best way to get your best result. It is Kimutai leading. He's a 3:41 man himself this season. Kombic behind him. Polonet in 3rd place, but those leading pair just getting away a little bit. There in the purple is Komen. He went out in his heat at the Kenyan Championships last week. Must have been a real misjudgment there, but 2nd in Rome for a season's best some 3 weeks or so ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he's behind the three pacemakers on the inside there in fourth place at Pulnet. And Diwa in the orange vest, going well. 3:36 this season, that's all. Quite heavy in the legs, isn't he, compared with most of these Kenyans. In that orange strip in fifth place. 1:38 there, with 2 laps to go.
Well, Coleman certainly in a good position in that leading group. Just in the second of the groups that's behind that little gap. And the pacemaker's gone, so the race is now really on.
1:52.90, sorry Stuart, that's a fairly measured split at 800 metres. If they could repeat that, then they'd be going somewhere, repeat that sort of tempo. So it's not all doom and gloom. The pack will have gone through in about 1:53.5. Goodness me, Lalu's way back. He's having a nightmare. He's obviously travelled badly as well, like Jen Rhines from the USA. I can't see him getting back with 500 metres to go to this 7 men out in front. It's Pulnet leading. Pacemakers dropping out one by one. Coleman at the front as they approach the bell. Kemboy in third place there.
I think that's
Pulnet at the bell.
That's a Diwa, I think, in fourth place, Tim.
Yes, it is, and Pulnet will keep going to 1,200 metres, but frankly, he should move aside. Coleman, Kemboy, and Diwa. Gathimba back in fifth place, but isolated at the moment. Now they hit 1,200 metres, another 56.88 lap there, and this is a rather clever pacemaking. I think we've had 56, 56, 56 for that split at 1,200 metres. 2:49 at 1,200, 200 metres to run. And it's still Coleman. He loves this sort of race. He doesn't have great speed over 800 metres, but he likes a long, hard run from the outside. But he's got a real race on his hands here tonight. Coming off the bend, and it's Kemboy who kicks past him. Kemboy hits the front. Coleman looks to be gone, and Diwa going well there. And also Lalu now has left it much too late. He was so far back a lap ago. There was no way he was going to get to the absolute front. That's a lovely run there. Fabulous run by Kemboy. 3:31.53. Quickest time in the world this year once again. There'd been a bit of racing up in front, it would have been quicker still, because that final lap, well, at around 56 seconds, nothing too special, but it was good, solid pace throughout. And Kemboy there, Nicholas Kemboy, improving his personal best. He set a personal best in New York, nearly a month ago, the 20-year-old. Third in the Kenyan Championship 10 days ago. He was only sixth in Eugene last week. 3:52 in that mile at Hayward Field. But what a lovely run tonight. Looks so light on his feet, doesn't he?
Yeah, he showed signs in New York, didn't he, when he won that mile? He in 3:50.8. So he's got the form certainly of late, and that was a very fine, strong finish indeed. You're right. Lalu left it far too late rather, and Coleman just left wanting for pace down the home straight. Good run indeed by Kemboy, as you've said several times. 3:33.29 was his best going into this race, and there is a world-leading time to boot. 3:31.52.
Well, you can see the rest of the world's metric milers going, oh no, there's another one. They found another one. He's just lopped almost 2 seconds off his best, Nicholas Kemboy.
An important vault for La Villenie of France, his third and final attempt at 5:85. Oh yes! Well, that was a brilliant vault, wasn't it? I guess when you get into a situation like this, you just remember you've been here before, you've been over 6 metres, why should 5:85 be difficult? There's no wind, the flags are absolutely still around the stadium, not a gust of wind anywhere. It's perfect conditions for all of these field events, certainly. World Championship bronze medalist, this fella, last season. But they won in New York, incidentally, with 5:85. Those of you at the Prefontaine meet in Eugene will have seen him there. La Villenie, third success at 5:85.
Well, back to this javelin competition. Torkildsen now shunted down to second place by Pitkamaki. What can he do? He's looking here for what? 84.71, and that's better. It's way out beyond 85. It's about 86.5 metres.
Do you know, Tim, as soon as he let go, his arm went in the air. He just knew that was a good one. He hit it. You watch him. He knew that was it. Yes, and he hasn't even landed. I mean, it's halfway.
Fascinating,
He knows.
isn't it?
He absolutely knows. Wonderful stuff.
And it's 87.03. Wow, those superimposed lines across the sector are misleading. He now leads by over 2 metres. Confirmation of Kemboy's win there. New territory for the young Kenyan. 3:31.52, the fastest time in the world this year. From Lalu, good run from Lalu, and Diwa in 3rd place. Well, one of the most evenly paced 1500 metre races I've seen in a long, long time, I have to say. And I think there's a lot more to come yet at that distance.
Well, Steve Hooker then, looking so very strong. 590, no. He passed at 585 incidentally. That was what he was saying earlier on. It wasn't that he was going to do a 585, he was going to pass it. Well, here's the lineup for the men's 400 metres. It's going to be a good one too. Qual of Trinidad in lane 1, Borlée of Belgium in 2, Gonzalez, Jamaica 3, Nixon, USA 4, Betters, USA 5, Warriner, USA 6, Calvin Smith of the USA in 7, and Dave Neville of the USA in lane 8. It's almost an American championship, this, with a Belgian, a sub-45 second Belgian in this race, running from the second lane. We'll introduce them in a moment as we go through. But we've got 2 new Americans on the block, Greg Nixon and Lajarel Betters, who were 1st and 2nd in the American trials, or the American Championships, I should be, with no major championship for them this season. René Quau of Trinidad, best of 44.53. That was in the World Championships in Berlin. He got the bronze medal there. He's 4th in Rome. He got the tight inside lane, although it's not a bad bend, this. Well, Jonathan Borlée is twin brother of Kevin. His Belgian record he broke recently. He improved it by a 10th, 44.88 to 44.78. This is Jermaine Gonzalez, big fella, 2nd in a Strava to Usain Bolt over that 300 metres time when Bolt just missed the world best. Well, Greg Nixon, personal best of 44.61 when he won the US Nationals. He's going very well indeed. Betters was 2nd in that championship. He ran in the heats, incidentally, in the World Indoor Championships in the 4x4. Now then, Jeremy Warriner could be under pressure from the other 2 Americans in this. Well, I say other 2, the 2 inside him. He failed to finish in the US Nationals. He won in Rome, he won in Shanghai, but this is a very tight finish, I would think. Calvin Smith is 22, a best of 44.81 this season. He ran that in Gainesville in Florida. And Dave Neville, do you remember in Rome he ducked onto the pole cam camera and didn't finish the race. Very, very unlucky indeed. But Nixon in lane 4, probably the man to watch. And of course Betters in 5 and Warriner in lane 6. But Neville shouldn't be discounted, right on the outside lane. He'll probably go off pretty quickly, but this is Warriner. 2 goals, each from Athens in 2004, Helsinki 2005, Osaka 2007. Personal best is 43.45. That was set back in 2007. He won this race in 2005 here in Lausanne. So Qual, Borlée, Gonzalez, Nixon, Betters, Warriner, Smith and Neville, the men's 400. Really looking forward to seeing the 2 Americans now. Warriner has gone off very quickly indeed, and he's got the Gerald Betters chasing him down the back straight, but Warriner certainly leading the race as they go down. Borlée going very well, the Belgian from lane 2, already going past Gonzalez. But look at this, very powerful indeed. Warriner is chasing Calvin Smith, who's outside him. Warriner, when they come through to 300 metres, it'll be Warriner leading. He knows he's got some real challenge to come later on. Neville right on the outside, going very strongly indeed. And Borlée running very well, the Belgian on the inside. And Warriner coming very strongly indeed, and so is Gonzalez. Warriner and Gonzalez. Warriner's just going to hold on, I think. Warner gets there. Oh, in second place, I think, was Betters. Gonzalez just, or was it, I think it was Gonzalez in third. It was, with Borlée challenging him. And the time, 44.58 for Jeremy Warner. Now, that's better. That's a season's best for him. And I tell you what, that was a big commitment for 200. Between 2 and 3, brilliant. And home in the lead. Hooker.
Well, Hooker there. That's a first failure. Oh, second failure, excuse me, just checking. 590 then. Now, La Villenie is sitting out this height. Hooker sat out while La Villenie suffered. Now, Hooker's on the receiving end. What a run that is from Warner. He gave 100%, but Stewart, he used to finish so smoothly, so relaxed. In years gone by, he'd have pulled away at this stage. Here tonight, he's under real pressure to hang on. Look at Gonzalez, the massive figure in blue, battling to hold on second. Just comes through. There's Betters, Gerald Betters for second place there from Warner. A world-leading time, 44.57, that win for the American. But the Warner of old is far from back with us. You have to say that. He might be winning races, but he'd have been running several meters quicker back in well, you go back 3-4 years, and he's certainly lost that aura of invincibility.
Remember, he pulled out of the final of the American Championships, but I'll just break off to bring you Torkelson. I was the leader in the javelin, twice Olympic champion. The grimace on his face, I think, tells you that that's not going to be beyond 85 meters. As soon as they release, you know, they can tell. It's that that wonderful feeling when it goes well, you know you've hit it. The timing is right. It feels effortless. And look at the grimace. No, it's not this time. Not this time. No, just over 80. 87.03 is leading distance thus far. Pitkamaki in second place at the moment, with Martinez in third.
Well, one throw left, one round to go in that javelin competition. Vivian Chariot, of course, winning that 3,000 meters tonight. One of several world-leading performances. 8:34, the winning time for the Kenyan, beating Defar into third place, no less. In confirmation of that win for Vivian Chariot. 8:34.58, the fastest time in the world this year. From Bekele, broaching new ground, the Turk, and Defar in third place. Place times are good. 8:41 for 10th. And Ejigo leads those Diamond League standings with 6 points from Vivian Chariot and Dibaba, both on 4 points there. Bekele with her 2 points from her win tonight, her second place tonight.
The long jump. Trying to catch up on this performance here. That's Mironchik, as you can see. Mironchik, 5th round jump. She's lying in 5th place at the moment. 6 meters and 54. Oh, way behind the board. There's an awful lot. There's just a 1.5 hitch kick. Yeah, it's just 10 centimeters down, isn't she, on second place there. 6:57 it is. 6:67 is Kotova in second place at the moment. The lead with Gomes at 6:80. She's had a 6:77 as well. Just trying to catch up with 1 or 2 of these events.
Yes, that's the setting here in Lausanne.
Gimo then, 5th round. United States, 6:45 so far. This technique dropped a little bit of forward rotation towards the end and limping away, as you can see. Just another look at that. Really blasts down. It's total commitment to the board. Little sinking in the shortening of the final stride. There, hits the board quite well. Good elevation. Now then, what's she got? She's hurt, I think. 6:39 it is.
It was actually, sorry Stuart, it was actually a much better jump than that, wasn't it? She sat back on it. Here's Steve Hooker now, under real pressure. La Villenie did it at 5:85, produced a 3rd time clearance. Now it's the turn of Hooker, who is the master of pressure situations, be it World Championship final, Olympic final. This man will get it right. He is the dominant force in world vaulting. Whether or not that proves to be the case tonight when he's up against the European number one, he needs this. Third time 590. Oh no. No, I'm not sure how close it was in fact, and it does confirm the Frenchman as winner here. He's an outstanding favourite. Long gone are those days of Russian dominance in the pole vault. Outstanding favourite for the European title in, 3 weeks' time? 19 days, in fact, until proceedings get underway in Barcelona's Olympic Stadium for those European Championships. But Steve Hooker, I think when you look at where he was, Stuart, only 3 weeks ago, then to be clearing 580 here tonight at the first attempt, he's going in the right direction.
Yeah, he is, certainly. And remember, he passed at 585. That's Jeremy Warriner. He passed at 585, whereas La Villani cleared on his third attempt. Well, there's the result of the 400 metres. Warrener's time 44.57, world lead. Betta's a personal best, 44.70. Gonzalez 44.72, also a personal best. Borlée, look at that, 44.94, a season's best. Watch out for him in the Europeans. And there are the overall point score. Warrener with a full house, 3 wins, 4 for a win, 12 points to him. Neville 3, Betta's 2, Gonzalez 2, and Taylor 2.
Well, what an evening athletics Lausanne is putting on. One world best after another. The women's 100-metre hurdles next out. The barriers on the track. And this has the look almost of an Olympic final field. Very, very strong lineup. Kelly Wells of the USA, 12.58 in Eugene. 2 years ago is her lifetime best. 12.84 this year so far. Bonette Dixon of Jamaica, 34 years old now, 12.76 this year. Delary Nennis of Jamaica, she's 35 years old, the oldest in the race. Third place in the World Championships back in 2007, 12.71 this year. Virginia Crawford, formerly Virginia Powell, world number 4 this year. Perdita Felicien set a season's best of 12.58. That was for second in New York. Priscilla Lopez-Schleep of Canada goes in lane 6, 4th in New York in a season's best of 12.67. Then Caroline Nitra of Germany, 8th in Oslo earlier on this summer. She has run 12.77. And Anna Tejeda has run 12.61 at altitude for a national record as the Cuban. She goes in lane 8. But the big guns, the athletes in form, well, Virginia Crawford in lane 4. She's an athlete who, on her day, can match it with the very best. 12.45 makes her one of the quickest in history. Felicien in lane 5, second in New York in 12.58, and Lopez-Schleep in lane 6. Watch lanes 4, 5, 6. Line up from the far side. Wells in 1, Dixon in 2, Ennis in 3, then Crawford 4, Felicien 5, Lopez-Schleep 6, Nitra 7, Tejeda in lane 8.
Set.
Well, I thought they got away okay, but one athlete obviously didn't. I think that was Delary Nennis. No, in fact, it's Ginny Crawford going well on the near side, though. It's Nitra. Nitra having a great run. Lopez-Schleep coming through now. Lopez-Schleep and Nitra. What a battle there for the German against the Canadian, and that's a real turn-up for the books. Third place might have been Felicien, but Lopez-Schleep winning there, 12.56. It's a season's best for the Canadian if that time is confirmed. But Nitra, well, I think clearly broaching new ground there. It's a previous best, 12.77 from earlier on this season. It was into a strong headwind, incidentally, that 12.77, and she's certainly shown what she can do with the virtually neutral wind here tonight in that 100-metre hurdles. The wind plus 0.3, negligible really. But clearly, Virginia Crawford there in lane 4, carrying that right knee injury, just not quite sure why he'd bother lining up, Stuart.
Well, Nitra is certainly going well and had the lead here. It was just at this point that Lopez-Schleep took over. She's a very powerful woman and very fast on the flat, certainly. And it looked like Ennis in third place there, just, as you can see. And the time, very quick indeed at 12.56. A little bit of a rocking and rolling by Felicienne, the other Canadian. Canada got a good result in this one, of course. Remember, she is the Olympic bronze medalist from Beijing and the World Championship silver medalist from Berlin last year. So she's there or thereabouts, got a good championship record. She was second in Doha, second in Oslo. Let's have a little look at this. Really attacking the hurdle. It's getting down. It's that trail leg speed of Lopez speed that's so impressive. It comes through so quickly, and once you're on the deck, you can start to move. Time in the air, as the old coaches would say, is time wasted. No floating over hurdles. And really, as always, one always says, the first hurdle, the first stride of the hurdle with vital.
Right, La Villenie then. The bar at 6:02. This for a new personal best for the Frenchman. Third attempt, remember, he had took... oh, that's not a bad effort. He only cleared 5:85, his winning height at the third attempt. He's got 2 more attempts at this. And as Stuart said, he really does attack the box, aggressive in his run. He holds the French national record at 6:01 since June last year. Had a poor World Indoor Championships, incidentally. That's after the bronze medal last year in Berlin. Already with wins from Oslo and New York under his belt, and he can chalk up tonight as well.
Well, Brittany Reese of the United States of America. Very quick on the runway. Oh, and that's a good jump. That looks a long way. Now, best 6:06 thus far. Was it a... I'm just looking at the board. Let's have a look at this. It looked good to me, and it looked very close to 7 meters. Have a look at this again. Hits the board there. Ooh, that really...
That's a no jump.
A no jump, but whether she gets it or not. Now, it's not about making a mark in the plasticine, it's breaking the vertical upright. Now, has she been given that? If she has, then that's certainly a best. She's been given it at 6:94.
Lopez Schleep winning that 100-meter hurdles in 12:56, a season's best for her. Nitra of Germany broaching new ground and surely making herself favourite for the European title with that massive personal best, 12:57. Delrine Ennis in third place. And Lopez Schleep leads the rankings with 8 points ahead of Nitra. Or rather, she did tonight. Lolo Jones on 12, Lopez Schleep on 8, Felicienne on 3 overall. Well, what a turn-up. That's probably one of the biggest improvements of the night for the German there, Nitra, from lane 7, taking down several very big names. It's most impressive.
Well, there's the lineup for the men's 200 meters. A good race in prospect here. Boza of the United States in 1, Warren of Jamaica in 2, Hessian, Ireland 3, Carter, USA 4, Dix, USA 5, Schneeberger, Switzerland 6, Martinez 7, and Crawford in 8. Well, that's Sean Crawford, best of 1979, but that was back in 2004, the Olympic champion in that year in Athens, and 2 Olympic silver medals since then. Well, let's have a look here. This is Chirandi Martina of the Netherlands Antilles, Schneeberger of Switzerland. Martina, incidentally, is season's best of 20.48. Schneeberger, local boy, 20.61 this year, quarter-finalist in the World Championships. Now, Walter Dix is the man in form at the moment. Beat Tyson Gay in Eugene. A tough character, this fella. 9.98 in the 100 meters this season. 1972 at 200. Xavier Carter of the United States is still only 24. Remember, he ran the 1963 in 2006 here in Lausanne. And he also ran a 44.53 400 as well. Paul Hessian, the Irish record holder at 1 and 200. Season's best at 20.46 in Budapest at the end of June. Ainsley Waugh, the 7th in Rome. Cricketing family. Personal best 20.22. Boza of the United States, 20.37, his personal best. Well, certainly Usain Bolt was down to run in this race, but really he was advised not to take the bends. And it may well be sensible. There's a lot of running to come this season. Dix has gone off very quickly around that bend, already up on the young Swiss lad, and Dix coming into the straight is leading this race, and he's terrifically powerful off the bend, running wide into the straight though, and inside Dix is Xavier Carter, but Walter Dix coming away with this very, very strongly indeed. And right on the outside in lane 7, Chirandi Martina going very strongly along with Xavier Carter, but the time 19.86, and he's putting a whole string of sub 20-second races together is this fella, and really was the favourite. 2 Olympic bronze medals from Beijing, 1 at 100 where he ran 9.91 and 200 19.98, and he's the man at the moment.
Well, sorry, Stuart.
I was just going to say how wide. Watch when he runs the bend, how wide he is. You see, Usain Bolt doesn't run that wide.
Well, I was going to say, actually, I think he ran on his line. Watch him there in the purple and yellow. Does he put several strides on the line? Yes, he does. No doubt about it. It's about 6 or 8 strides there on the line. He should be disqualified, I think. And then he adjusts and he's way out on the outside of his line. And here he starts running on the right-hand line of his lane.
No, that's
which
not
is the most
problem.
untidy 19.8 I've ever seen. He knew he was too far left at the start, the first 50 metres, veered wide, and then was all over the place coming down the straight. I'd like to see those feet close up in the first 30 or 40 metres, please.
On the straightway, on the outside lane, it doesn't matter as long as you're not impeding. As long as you're not impeding. But on the bend, you're quite right. He was on the line and ran several strides on the line. His toe may well have gone inside of the lane, and really, that is a disqualification. You're absolutely right. And he was all over the place. He ran so wide round the bend, which was, well, he's just a powerful 200-metre man, isn't he? He's all over the place, but he didn't half run fast.
I think some people would call him a pocket rocket. He's very hunched-shouldered. He's aesthetically not the most pleasing of sprinters to watch, but he gets the job done usually.
Well, La Villenie, second attempt at 6 metres and 2 here in the vault. Looked as though he could do it. No, that wasn't as good as the first attempt. And he must now be getting a bit tired, not just physically, but mentally as well.
Yeah, way off it there, isn't he? Although he hasn't had many vaults. I mean, he actually count his vaults, La Villenie. That was only his 6th vault of the evening. He's down Steve Hooker, though. He's down Malte Moore of Germany, who finished in 3rd place. Former world champion Jibi Lisko down in 6th place in that pole vault competition.
Well, Torkelson, we're getting another look at the javelin. And as you can see, that's another 85-plus throw, isn't it? I think that was the 87.03 that we've already seen, the 4th round throw. Just to have a look back at that. Not a bad series, not a great series, but there is the final result. Torkelson 87.03. That was just giving you an indication of his winning throw, really. Pitkamaki coming through into second, 84.71, and Martinez did hold on to 3rd place with 82.40.
And there is Torkelson's tally, 12 points in total over Friedrich's 4 and Pitkamaki 3. Remember, it's 4 points for a win, 2 for second, 1 for third in each Diamond League meeting.
I just wonder what will happen with that 200 metres. We'll soon see. The computer still showing Walter Dix leading, and so there is the result of the 200 metres. 1986, still no decision on that race. Martina 20.08, a national record for him. Xavier Carter 20.15, season's best. Hessin, another good run by the Irishman, equals his season's best at 20.46, just ahead of War. Well, it gives Walter Dix an extra 4 points, and that's why that disqualification may well be important if it does happen.
It's critical, Stuart, isn't it? And an appeal has got to go in, you would hope, from one of his rivals, because well, it's like being offside, but actually being able to make an appeal and have the result reversed to make it topical.
Well, there's the lineup for the steeplechase, 3,000 metre steeplechase, and looking at Kipruto there, Paul Kipseli-Koech may well feature. He's going so well. Matilong going well at the moment. Ramalefi of the Republic of South Africa was the world leader early on, then his lead overtaken considerably. And I was just looking down there, I think Shaheen was there. I'll just check on that in a moment.
Lavillenie then, third and final attempt. His first attempt was not bad, his second attempt was poor. 6:02 would be a new French national record. Would make him world #1 this year. The crowd right behind the little Frenchman. He couldn't want for more. No, oh no. But he's going for it, isn't he? And it'll come. They gradually work themselves into perfect form, these men. It is the most technically demanding event, of course. Very, very tough. But Lavillenie is Mr. Consistency. He is good. And he's beaten Hooker tonight, and that's one he'll be very, very happy to chalk up in his little training diary, which I would imagine he keeps. Of course, in my day, it was all written down. Nowadays, I'm sure it's online somewhere. 5:85 there. Baltimore congratulating him.
A couple of withdrawals from the steeplechase. I was just checking as you were talking about that event. Keskitalo of Finland, who was the Finns were expecting him to run here. The European champion has withdrawn. So has Michael Kipyego, the Kenyan. As a former gold medalist, world junior gold medalist back in 2002. Matulong has gone well this season. He's always there or thereabouts in the championship. Personal best just outside 8 minutes, in second place in the World Championships last year, this fella. Olympic bronze medalist too. Alangat, second in New York, 8:15.52. Personal best 8:09, which he ran in Doha, the first race of the season. Well, Paul Koech, once again, I mean, Koech is probably the favourite. The Olympic bronze medalist back in 2004, world indoor silver medalist 2008. He's been there or thereabouts. He's run a 13-minute 2, 5,000 metres indoors, incidentally. Gives you some idea of his capabilities across the board. Just looking right across to Huling in the United States on the near side, and Kiplagat we saw there. Shaheen, I'm still looking for Shaheen on the outside. I think he's there. We'll check it out in a moment. He's the world record holder. And well, once again, we'll have a look at this, because the schedule they've asked for is 2:38. Well, they have gone off quickly indeed. 2:38 for 1,000 metres and 5:18 at 2,000. Well, if that pace was maintained, that's sub-8 minute pace, and we'll see. Lagat is the designated pacemaker, but after that surge, they've settled down now. And Kiplagat moves into the lead, and Koech follows him now. And obviously Koech is probably asked for this, but Tim, we sometimes wonder whether, as I said before, whether it's the coaches, the managers, but not necessarily the coaches, more likely to be the managers. Koech, I think, is now in the purple strip in second place as they line up at this time. Lagat is leading.
You're exactly right, Stuart. Of course, the athletes can be told everything off the track. Once they get on the track, they're on their own, and nobody can pull any levers or push any buttons. If they don't feel up to it, then they won't go out with the pacemakers. I'm delighted, I have to say, to see Shaheen back on the racing scene. He's still the world record holder. He's coming back into pretty good shape with an 8:16 so far this year, but he's just looked a little bit more promising. He almost broke 13 minutes for 5,000 in Oslo a few weeks back.
Yes, I was just going to make that point, Tim. He was 11th in that race in 13 minutes. 10 men went under 13 minutes in that 5,000. He's in the white top and the red shorts towards the back. I remember that. I often refer back to that world final in Paris in 2003. It was the most erratic steeplechase race I've ever seen, and he prevailed in the end. He had such speed when he needed it, and the rhythm, disruption of the rhythm was quite considerable. It really was. Lagat, the pacemaker, leading. Koech in second place. Kiplagat in third place. And we'll get a time for the first 1,000 metres. Remember, they're looking at 2:38. Which would give them at least a foundation for a sub-8. Kiplagat, Benjamin Kiplagat, World Championship finalist. Didn't do so well in Doha, incidentally. He was 10th in that, but he has got an 8:12 to his credit. He's from Uganda. He's their national record holder, incidentally. And just as I say that, Saeed Shaheen is there, moving up very, very steadily on the outside. The favourite for me would be Paul Kipseli Koech. the Kenyans have so dominated this event over the years in the major championships. They really have.
He's looked very tentative with a couple of barriers, has Shaheen. No, I don't think he's comfortable hurdling. He was suffering from knee and Achilles injuries this last 3 or 4 years. There he is in the red shorts again. Quite an accentuated stutter from Shaheen before that barrier in the red shorts. He's in 5th place now, but he's losing 2 or 3 meters with every barrier if he does that.
Yeah, Kipruto is also up there, he's in 4th place at the moment. And Shaheen not making any headway at the moment, but not looking too bad. As you're right, he's got a strange pitter-pattery type of stride, isn't he? With his head back, he leans back. And you're right, he's not a great hurdler, but my goodness me, remember he is the world record holder at 7:53.63. That was in Brussels in 2004.
Here's La Vilanese winning Bolt 5.85 remember tonight to beat Steve Hooker. And that was a lovely clearance too. He certainly had more in him than the 5.85, but that's all it took to take victory and maximum Diamond League points for this competition. 4 points to the Frenchman. French victories few and far between these days on the Diamond League circuit. Confirmation of that win for Renaud Villeneuve. 5.85 to equal his season's best. Hooker in 2nd, Moore on 3rd on the same height, 5.80. And just about everybody in the competition over 5.50, barring Straub. Well, and Brittany Rees in this long jump competition coming out with 6.94. She passed her final jump, but that was indeed the winning effort in the 5th round for the American. A raw style, but big distances being cleared. We thought it was a no jump. Frankly, I think technically it should have been called a no jump when we saw the slow-mo of her foot, but she gets the win, 6.94. Maximum points for Brittany Rees in that long jump competition ahead of Nadia Gomez of 6.80 and Kotova of Russia 6.70.
Well, we're looking at time for 2,000 meters here. Kiplagat really moving on with Koech in 2nd place, Kipruto in 3rd, and now of course the race is really on. Kiplagat.
Well, it's been laid down very well, Stuart. That first kilometre split, 2:39. It's sub-8 minute pace. If they can push on through this middle kilometre, and it's so often here that they do tend to slacken off and finish fast. 5:20 exactly at 2,000. 2:41 for that 2nd kilometre. This is very promising indeed. If they can really get their heads down and fight for it this next couple of laps, they could see an 8-minute for performance. And they're pretty few and far between these days in the chase.
Well, certainly they're coming now, and if they can keep this up, Kipruto is there, Kiplagat in 2nd place, Koech in 3rd, Kipruto then leading this race. And got 2 laps to go.
Just looking around the track, Stuart, I think Shaheen has dropped out. He's not on the track now. Huge gaps here, and that's to be expected with a pace like this. It's very, very fast indeed. You can see the effort with the sweat there in that slow motion shot. Wonderful pictures. But these two powering on down the back straight, and the advantage here is that they're going to race each other by the looks of things rather than really sit back and play a cat and mouse game. They're going to really give it all. About 600 meters to run, and if they can hack into this last lap and a half, it's going to be a special time. The fastest time in the world this year, very much under threat. It's 8:03 at the moment to Bob Tari, the Frenchman. That was in Metz back in late June.
Well, certainly Kipruto and Kiplagat, these two. Kipruto leads, Kiplagat in 2nd place, Koech in 3rd place. And this is a very, very fine run indeed. Kipruto now with just over a lap to go in this 3,000 metre steeplechase. They set out on a pace to go dip down below 8 minutes, and this is one of the races which, of course, the Kenyans have said have been disappointing during the season. It's about time we got under 8 minutes, and these two still look very comfortable, don't they? Koech, who's been so dominant early on in the season, is about 20 or 30 metres behind now, and Kiplagat is in a good position behind Kipruto. Kiplagat leading, rather. Kipruto in 2nd place. Kipruto leading, Kiplagat in 2nd place. Let's get that right. And 200 metres to go. Kipruto with 150 to go. Who takes this barrier the better of the two? Well, Kiplagat now coming, he's lost a few metres off that barrier. He really has, and Kipruto now coming down for the world's fastest time in this steeple. Let's look at this, look at the clock, 7:54, 7:55. It's going to be close, isn't it? 58, 59, just outside 8 minutes. It's quick though, 8:01. And really Kipruto from Kiplagat with Koech coming in into third place. A very fine run indeed. Looks like Hulin coming in next, which is a very good run for him. We'll check on that in a moment, but what a good race indeed. It looked as though it was going to be inside the 8 minute barrier, but really at the end, it was a tough one, Tim. It really was.
Yes, I think we were looking for our last lap there, about 62.5, 63 seconds, and with the barriers in the way as well, that was always going to be a very big ask. But they're moving on downwards. They'll lop another second or two off the world best for this year. It's yet another world-leading performance here in Lausanne tonight, which is not bad going considering we're well into July. There have been quite a few throughout this meeting. The Kenyans making sure that they are the long race over the barriers is very much their territory. The Ethiopians just beginning to make inroads here and there with one or two world-class performers in that discipline, but there are hordes of Kenyans who regard it as their first discipline rather than what is so often the case from other distance runners, which is to revert to the steeplechase when they find themselves getting beaten on the flat. Look how well he goes clear. Plenty of running in the legs there of Kipruto through the last 70 or 80 metres. And there's more to come there, without any doubt at all. Olympic champion, former world champion, in very good condition. Hardly looks strange, does it? Well, that was one of 7 world bests on this night. It's been a fabulous evening's athletics in Stade Pontes, the Olympic Stadium here in Lausanne. A few spectators leading, but many of them staying on for seats that I'm sure cost a few bob. Staying on for the fireworks display that is the traditional ending to this gathering. And it's all about the diamonds this year, $40,000 per event. The points continue to be racked up by the athletes in all the disciplines, every single track and field discipline. I can tell you that the 7 world-leading performances came in the women's 1,500 metres, the women's 3,000 metres, the men's 1,500 metres, the men's 400 metres, the men's steeplechase, and the high jump for men and the women's triple jump. There's the result of that steeplechase final. 8:01.62 for Kipruto, world-leading performance ahead of Benjamin Kiplagat, 8:03, a national record for the Ugandan, Koech in third. Well, the next event is just 48 hours away at Gateshead in the northeast of England, where thankfully the weather is not much different here in Lausanne. That meeting promises Powell versus Gay over 100 metres. 6 days later, of course, the Diamond League family will be moving on to Paris. There are the winners tonight. Special performances in just about every single discipline. Remember, Grudisha's easy 1:43. Bershon Jackson under 48 seconds the 400-metre hurdles. Burka under 4 minutes in the 1,500 metres. Whichever event you go to, it was good here tonight in Lausanne. Very good indeed. And there are the totals, as you can see. Plenty of athletes now on 12 points, including Jeremy Warrener over 400 metres, Dix at 200 metres, Rudisha with 12 points at 800, as is Jackson and La Villenie in the vault. Torkildsen marches on his merry way too. The best of the women, well, Lolo Jones, who wasn't here tonight, she's on 12 points in the hurdles. And the Carmelita Jetta on 9 in the 100 flat. Well, as I say, we'll be moving on to Gateshead in 48 hours' time. It's the turn of the first of 2 English Diamond League meetings. Lausanne has done us proud here tonight. The sun still setting. That next event, remember, you'll be able to see from Gateshead, Paris a few days later, as this 2010 season really does get into full swing in the European theatre. From Stuart Story and myself, Tim Hutchings, it's good night from Lausanne. We'll see you very soon.